Welcome everybody, Red Arrow 23 here. Time for another addition to the Boom Beach Playbook. Today we're going to be doing the Torrent left shields. Let's boom this beach! So today we've got Mike aka Jolie. He's the leader of Angry Ice Holes. He's going to be showing us the left shield on Torrent. So let's check it out. And we'll try and do no pausing the whole way through the first part. So let's check it out. So he's already marked that rocket launcher. Smoking on up. I think he's used 5 boats. We'll check that out in a bit. Universal remote on that rocket launcher. And he's going to be smoking super quick so the machine guns don't even get him. Look at that. Then he's going to flare up directly to the spot, which is a little bit funky. So the Zuka's going to go a little bit wild. But we're not going to have the delay anyway. Because of the flash. So there we go, nice little critters distracting that rocket launcher. There's some beautiful shocks in there actually, and he gets the left shield down. There we go. And then what did he do with the rest of his boats? He's got 2 boats. And we're going to be heading up for this laser, I believe. Could have maybe tagged it, but he probably had enough for a flare, so we'll just do that. Make sure that they're all in range. They're a little bit too far away probably for a tag, but we'll check it out. 1 gangster shock, and that's going to go down. Losing a few Zukas along the way, so it's going to take a few more shots than probably calculated, if you calculated it without loss. And clearing the mine, so great hit from Joel. Let's check that out in more detail. So, first things first, we obviously need to take down these 2 shields on the left hand side. The reason for that is that we're going to be rushing the core, and right now there's probably 15 mil on the shield, for example, and another 12, 13, 1.5, just over 1.5 on the core. 1.5 million, so we obviously don't need that extra 15 million or whatever it is on the shield. We want to get rid of that before we rush the core. So because of that, we're going to be setting up for a spot just about 8 o'clock, around about where these mines are. And Joel's job is to A, get rid of the shields, and B, make the core rush as easy as possible, or the next hit. In this case, it's just going to be for the core rusher. The right shield's pretty much on his own. So here we go, we dropped 5 boats of Zuka, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boats of Zukas, and 1 boat of Sparky with universal remote. So you'll see his flag landed into a perfect spot that's in a direct 45-degree line with where he wants to be. He's using this power cell as an anchor, which is great. And he is not going to lose the delay on this rocket launcher, or on anything in fact. He's going to be in the dead zone, I think, but key is not to lose any delay. If you lost a delay on, say, the laser, then when you next appear out of the smoke, it's going to fire a lot quicker. So just bear that in mind. It's going to give you a lot smaller window. I would suggest doing this flash from a little bit further down. Jolie is pretty gangster, so he can do this from straight within range of a machine gun. I don't necessarily suggest it because it's going to be a very small window that you can get this UR off on. So he's using artillery to tag the rocket launcher. When you tag something, it basically heightens the priority list for Zukas and UR, universal remote, any targeting basically. If that troop is in range of that defense, then when you once they stop, they should be targeting that defense. So right now, as soon as he hits universal remote, it's gone straight onto the rocket launcher. So we don't need to re-flare. You can use a flare if you UR and it does something else, like if this machine gun was more tagged, then you can then correct it with a flare. But just remember that your Zukas are going to stand there dumb and happy, just looking at this friendly building that they can't attack. So make sure you know about that. So it's tagged. We're going to come out of the smoke, and I'm going to play it at 1 speed, and you can see when he taps and when the smoke appears, and how quickly that spark universal remote comes out. So here we go. tap there, and boom, spark just came out of the smoke. There was plenty of damage around. Sometimes you need to be aware of that. Sorry, I didn't actually talk about why we want to get rid of that rocket launcher. So the main reason is when we're rushing the core, that rocket launcher is definitely going to be in range of our Zookas. So is this mortar, this shock launcher. So to make that shock easier, we make it a T-shock basically. So we can shock on the mortar slightly low, but not too low, and we'll get all four of these defenses. You can shock all 6, so from the sniper, shock launcher, mortar, and the rocket launcher we just killed. That is possible, but when you're throwing out that shock, these shocks, so probably these 2, these 4, maybe a critter up the top to distract the other ones, a shock here, and a shock here, you don't want to have to get this precise point where the 2 mortars meet. So making those shocks easier really, really helps out. So he's done that. The risk you run with that though is that if you don't get that flash kill, you lose too many Zookas for whatever reason, you're going to cost another hit for the team by not getting those shields. But you can't go and get the shields and then try it later because you've already lost the delay and it's not going to work. So it's a very risky move, but it definitely pays dividends for the team. So he's going to flare directly up to the spot above. You have an option of just flaring up to the left of the shock blaster and then flaring in. But if you know their path, the smokes are pretty wide. You can just smoke all the different avenues that they can take. I'd even smoke a little bit further left, but that's fine. It's worked out really well for Joel. And now we're in the spot. So we're going to flare the furthest shield generator. There's different views on this. You can flare the front, the closest shield generator, and the Zookas won't spread as much. But if you spread the furthest shield generator, then they can all move, target that shield generator, and then when they flare onto the next shield generator, they won't have to move. There's no time wasted, I guess. So it's up to you. Joel's managed to keep them all really nicely grouped just based on where his flare was and flaring the next shield generator. None of them have peaked, so it's worked out really well. And then we're going to look at some pretty good shocks. So this fire rocket launcher is just in range. We don't have to worry about it too much because it's only going to pick off a couple of Zookas. I believe he's going to throw critters on the fire shield generator. And we definitely need to shock these machine guns. So he's going to go for the T-shock over there, the shock blast. So he's going to get shock blaster, 2 machine guns, and this center machine gun in 1 shock. Is that one going to come out first? Bang! So that's that shock there. Using that T. He's using critters on the fire shield generator. The next shock is the machine gun, 2 mortars, and shock launcher. And I think he's accidentally going to get the shock mortar as well. That's great. And then he's doing the same thing over here. So, all he needs to do is the shock launcher and 2 machine guns. 2 machine guns will just rip up the critters, and that's the only real reason. The shock launcher could be taking out our Zookas. Cannons in the back we're not too worried about. They're just going to take 1 Zooka at a time. These rocket launchers are out of range. So we're pretty good with 3 shocks in there. And you might have to mix these shocks up depending on where all of these defenses are. You're looking at 2 salvos, so 1 round of fire, next round of fire, and then you've taken out that first shield. Do the calculation. This is for 6 boats of Zookas on this particular map. So definitely do your math. If you can one-shot them, get away with one-shotting them, but usually it's 2 shots. 2-shot the shield, move, flare the next one as quickly as you can, and 2 shots should kill that too, even though you lost a few to the cannon. So great hit. Occasionally the shocks will be a bit different, but try and use 3 in a row and 1 sort of either side. That can be like 1 really good shock. You can do 6, but I don't suggest it. It's just hard to do consistently. Some people do it and they're just crazy. And then what he's going to do is he's got 2 more boats. If you don't have 2 more boats, if you use all your 8 boats for the left shields, that's great. Sometimes they'll work out really well for you. But Mike knows that with the health that was on the shield, he only needed to take 6 boats. Could easily get them down, or easily, relatively, kinda. And then he's going to flare onto this laser, and it's the only thing in range. So he's going to hit that perfect 6-item shock. Obviously the shock mines didn't need shocking for the 6th spot. And he's going to lose a few Zookas, that's fine. And then he's clearing mines for the core rush, which is just great. I love it. If you had any more spare GBE, I would have just done one art here. But like, that was every ounce of GBE used to a really good standard. So let's check it out one more time all the way through. It's going to be flag landing to an anchor, and a perfect 45-degree angle line where he's going to put his flare. So here goes the flare, perfect 45-degree angle. Zookas are going to walk nice, not going to lose the delay. Keep putting them smoked all the way. One smoke at the end is going to be fine. We've got 6 boats. And then universal remote is going to auto target onto the tagged rocket launcher. Re-smoking real quick over all of the troops. And then we can flare either direct up or vertical line and then across. Smoking appropriately either way. Critter, so flare onto the shield generic, critter, shock, 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 get those shocks all good, and then re-flare. The timing of that re-flare is critical, meaning make sure you're getting that re-flare out in a timely fashion. And then you can either tag or flare this laser, remembering that you're going to be running really low on GBE by this stage of the hit. And then if you can take out that laser, it's going to make this an easier shock for the core rusher, the 3 lasers and the doom cannon, and clearing mines for that core rusher. So now we only need 1 hit for the right shields, and then we can start rushing. So great start from Joel. So that's how we normally deal with the left shield on Torrent. Sometimes we won't go for the flash kill because it's just crazy hard, or it's not even needed. And yeah, so let us know if you do it any differently. Give us a thumbs up if you liked the video, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for more Boom Beach. Yeah.